I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I have to go to a party and I have to wear these awful, torturous, terrible shoes. They are not comfortable at all. I'd much rather wear, my flip-flops or my tennis shoes. But those just don't look nice with a party dress. And I have to wear these and I don't want to. Why can't they make comfortable shoes? It's a quandary. I mean, they don't make kids wear these things. Why do adults? It's crazy. But, it reminds me of a really good story about a shoemaker who makes really amazing and comfortable shoes. And I wish that I could get shoes from him. But it's a fairy tale. It's fantasy. So I can't. But I'll go ahead and read it to you guys today. I happen to have it right here. It's called The Story of the Elves and the Shoemaker. And this particular version has been retold by Jim LaMarche. And this is a story that was originally told by the Brothers Grimm, the Grimm fairy tales. And I will tell you that if you read the original Grimm fairy tales, they're usually pretty grim. But they've been retold, and so they're more fun and lighthearted. And in honor of our Imagine Your Story summer reading program, we're doing fairy tales. And at least we are this week and next week. So this week we're doing the Brothers Grimm. So we're going to read you the Elves and the Shoemaker. So sit back and enjoy our fun story about the shoemaker. All right. There once was a good shoemaker who, through a spell of bad luck, had become very poor. Finally, he had just enough leather to make one last pair of shoes. Still, it's a fine piece of leather, said his wife, as soft as butter, yet as strong as your hands. Tonight, dear wife, I will cut the leather, said the shoemaker, and first thing in the morning, I will sew the shoes. The next morning, when the couple went into the workshop, they were flabbergasted by what they found. There, on the work table, stood 2 shoes, perfectly finished, with not a stitch out of place. But who? How? Sputtered the shoemaker. His wife could only stare. Just then, a dandy gentleman came into the shop. What magnificent shoes! Please, I must try them on, he said. The shoes fit perfectly. It was as if they had been made just for him. He was so pleased that he paid double the price. Now the shoemaker had enough money to buy leather for 2 more pairs of shoes. Again that evening, the shoemaker cut out the leather for the shoes and went to bed. And once again in the morning, there were the shoes, finished. Buyers were not lacking for these either, and as before, they were so pleased they paid double the price. Now the shoemaker had enough money to buy leather for 4 more pairs of shoes. And the next morning, just as before, there were the shoes already made. Wow, Caesar, you're looking kind of dandy and dapper in those fun tennis shoes. They look good on you. Oh, they do, really. Did you visit the shoemaker? Well, I'm going to get back to my story. Thanks, Caesar. On and on it went. Whatever the shoemaker cut in the evening was finished by morning, and soon the news of the splendid shoes spread throughout the town, and the shoemaker and his wife were no longer poor. Yeah, lots of money. Lots and lots of money. One evening, not long before Christmas, as the shoemaker cut more leather shoes, his wife spoke. Dear husband, who has made us so rich? What if we were to stay up tonight and see who comes to our shop? The shoemaker agreed. So that night, they lit a small lamp in the hall, and they hid behind their coats and waited as the clock struck midnight. They heard the creak of a window and the scuttle of small feet. Peeking out from behind the coats, they saw 2 tiny children sneak into the workshop. They were poorly shod, and they wore only raggedy sacks for warmth. Elves! The shoemaker's wife, whispered. Check it out. Do you see? The shoemaker and his wife are hidden behind their coats. And here come the elves. Elron, really? Wrong elf story. But thanks for playing. The tiny elves tiptoed across the room and climbed up onto the table. Then, humming and whistling, they began to stitch and to sew and hammer so quickly with their little fingers that the shoemaker and his wife could not believe their eyes. Wow, they worked really fast. Look at them go. Look how straight their stitches are and how straight the nails are when they go in. Making shoes is hard work, and they did it really good and really fast. The elves did not stop until all the shoes were finished, and they stood lined up on the table. Sturdy riding boots, delicate slippers, feather-light dancing shoes, and heavy clogs for work. Then the elves tiptoed out of the workshop, up the stairs, and out the window. The next morning, the wife said, "The little elves have made us rich. We must give them something in return. They run around with so little on, they must be freezing. I will make a warm dress, coat, and pants, and knit them each a pair of stockings. And I shall be happy to make them each a pair of fine shoes," said the shoemaker. They went right to work, and that evening they laid the presents on the work table. Then, like before, they hid behind the coats, and they waited. At midnight, the elves quietly slipped into the shop, ready for another night's work. But instead of pieces of leather, they found their beautiful presents. At first, they were too astonished to move, and then they hugged their new warm clothes and quickly put them on. Aren't they pretty? She did a nice job on those. When they were dressed, they leaped and bounced around the room, singing, "Now we're elves so fine to see, no longer cobblers we will be." And they jumped over the chairs and raced around the shop and finally ran out the door. The click and the clack of their new shoes echoed through the streets. From that time on, the little elves were not seen again, but the shoemaker and his wife lived a long and happy life. The end. Wasn't that a fun story? And I really like this book. I love the illustrations in it. I think they did a really good job capturing the mischievousness of the elves in this book and their beautiful work that they made. I think I really enjoyed this rendition of the Elves and the Shoemaker. What, Caesar? Yes, I see. You have different shoes on. Those look much nicer. Although they're a little big for you, so you'll have to grow into them. And only wear them when you're going out to fancy places. You could go to the party with me. You can wear my high heel shoes. No, I'm just teasing. You can go in your handsome shoes. All right, thank you, Caesar. Well, boys and girls, I sure hope that you enjoyed our story of the Elves and the Shoemaker. How sweet the elves did in caring for the shoemaker and his wife and helping them out. And remember that you can do random acts of kindness too for people that you know and care and love, just like the elves did for the shoemaker and his wife. And if you stop in at the Her Memorial Library this week, we've got some coloring pages and a craft for you to do and an activity challenge that has to do with doing acts of kindness. So come on down and check it out. And I look forward to seeing you guys again sometime soon. Take care. Bye.